I got up and, as usual for Saturday, it's like Church of Mopar streams going on. Get connected to that one and listen for a long while. But then I hit several others. And there's good information coming from every stream you can connect to. Whether it's these things cause less trouble than those things, and it might be, oh, these cheeses, I've mentioned it before, the fermented hard cheeses, aged cheddar, things like that. Those are the ones that you will get less carbohydrate from. Some people just need to not eat any dairy, and that's fine. But the information comes out in this stream, and 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 that stream over there on the other side of the world. Somebody mentioned one of my favorite content creators in the UK is Kent Carnivore. I had to stop for a moment because I was thinking of his real name. He lives in Kent and has been through what most of us hope to never be through. But he has lots of good information. Coach Steven, lots of good information. Bart K, South Pacific, getting into New Zealand over there. Lots of good information. And some of us will happily get tired of rehashing the same good information. But it's out there, it's available. You can go to all these different live streams, and the information is out there. Now, in the US, in the hello, Peggy. Eggies. Yeah, I'm a carnivore streamer. I'm 60 years old. I try not to look it, but getting my health back it takes time. And the gray shows. My hair at the end is definitely more faded than at the top. Hi, Kutsia. Hi, Barun. But I was saying things about those who need to begin the carnivore diet because everything they're eating is making them sick, but they're not eating the meat they need. Let's face it, have you ever cut open your arm on a piece of jagged metal and suddenly leaked vegetable broth? No, you don't. You leak a protein fluid. That fluid is the basis of your blood, your interstitial fluids, and so much else that goes on in your body. People who have miraculous healing of one problem or another are usually eating something or eating in a way that many people would tell them not to. Hi, Theos. Or Theo Silva. Yeah, this is primarily my carnivore channel. I live in Texas in the United States. That's in the south and in the middle. Or the middle part of the country, but south. Not central and not north. And it gets hot here. We have pretty bad storms. When we have a drought, the ground gets baked like a tile under the sun, And then when it finally does rain, it floods horribly. Brazil. I can't think of specific foods from Brazil, but I've probably tried a few. I like trying things from different places. In fact, I already know that I eat foods. I probably eat more British food than a lot of Britons do. And I like Italian and French and German foods. Although, because of food allergies, which is essentially plant allergies, I find I cannot eat as much Italian as I would like. The big thing right now, especially in retail products in the United States, is to put something like coriander seed. You might be used to calling it cilantro and cilantro seed. Usually we say cilantro to mean the greens and coriander to mean the seed. In the US, I don't know how it is where you are, but I'm allergic to that plant and another one related to that plant, which is fennel. So that leaves me out of a lot of Italian foods I used to eat. But on the carnivore diet, there's not a lot of plants. There's a lot of meat. Today, for my food, I had a nice lamb shoulder chop. It's easily 2 or 3 times the size of those little rib chops you see on overpriced menus and things. So it's more satisfying. It's a lot more satisfying. And getting the meats in that you need. It can still include a little of one sauce or another. You know, you can season things. But my diet is mostly the meat and the salt that I use to cook it. But we were talking in several live streams earlier about, I mean, these were carnivore live streams. They're not just generic ones. But essentially, I can avoid a lot of what I'm allergic to by not eating the seeds of those plants. I'm aware of where fennel seed might be used. I bet it gets hot and dry there too. Yes, I see where you say you're from. But I'm not here for you to spam my channel. I was talking about some things I'm allergic to, and it all falls into plant matter. And with fennel seed and coriander seed, you typically find them in processed meats. So in the US, where there's lots of processed foods, I have to be very careful about what I eat. I can buy very plain ground meat. But if I want breakfast sausage and things of that nature, I have to make it myself. Because otherwise I will wind up a dreadful mess. Hi, Nikki. I haven't stacked any new stuff lately, but I've been considering it. I was recently trying to get everything into one place so that all of it would be together. And the mentions, I've mentioned before that it's alright. I watch the price per ounce, or per gram when in the case of gold. And the little safe is in the bedroom, right next to the bed. Bummer having to work on a Saturday, though. But my thoughts when I sat down were carnivore diet material, and the fact that there's different information on every channel. But a lot of the information that people don't click on, and they need to find it when they go back surfing another channel. Yeah, and you have to repeat the message over and over again, I'm sure. But it's kind of like, okay, I can buy silver. I can go to Amex, or I can go to... If I want to walk into a physical store, I can go to Austin Rare Coins and Bullion. Usually I wind up with Provident Metals. But you look for the best price per pound, and you look for a special where, oh, if I'm buying this particular item, then I get free shipping on the whole order. I love those deals. Now, with Provident Metal, I've only had one issue with an order. Just one time. And they discovered the problem before I did, and they gave me a credit that was worth another ounce of silver. Gotta love that, right? Mahana, yeah, just one. I don't know if they ship outside the US, so if you're looking to have someone that you regularly buy from, I mean, just like meats or vegetables, you buy from the person that consistently provides value without providing problems. And that goes for everything. The meat that you eat, if a lot of people's, most of the world still eats a lot of fruits and vegetables. I don't. Not a lot anyway. I eat enough leafy seasonings because I can add a little oregano or basil to something, and that's flavoring. I can put bay leaves into something, and it's very mild and subtle. But people who think a bay leaf has no flavor need to make 2 pots of rice and put a bay leaf in one. But that way I'm not eating seeds. Seeds often provide to the person dining, they provide the same prevention that they provide to the birds that come back at them. Every species wants to live, whether it's a plant or anything else, and some plants develop thorns, some plants develop toxins. And some develop little fine spines that look harmless and get stuck in your throat when you try to eat. But it's just important to know what you're eating and where it came from and figure out if you really want to eat that. When you eat beef and goat and venison, I mean, there's a number of ruminant animals you can get meat from, and that meat has been processed by their multiple chambered stomachs, and it's safer. If you eat something that's monogastric, like a chicken or a pig, then you're taking chances. And that's what's happening. I mean, people will eat what they're accustomed to eating, but you want to try to get the best quality you can. If goat from inland farms and fish from the coast are what your people eat, then that's what you eat. And if you eat beef, then you're better off than a lot of people, except that most countries encourage us to space that out with grain and vegetables, peanuts. How many people in the world are allergic to peanuts? But you know, if you're... Hello, Bob. Yeah, I was looking at your flowers a little while ago. I mean, I had already liked that video, but I went and looked again. It's flowers. Bob, did the shortage on the plasma flow affect your orders at all lately? Because I noticed from my last order, it was delayed, and then it was shipping. Oh, hey, Kev. Yeah, I'm in here talking about carnivore stuff again. And I finished a beautiful lamb steak. Not everybody wants one, but it's okay for me. Try to eat those ruminant meats. Lamb and goat, they're ruminants. I think camel is a weird thing. It's not quite a ruminant. It has like a 3-chambered stomach or something. But that's still better. Yeah, if camel is available where you shop for meat, then that's what you eat. And that's still, I mean, it might not be ruminant, but it's getting close. There's some weirdness with camels. In North America, prehistorically, there was a camel-related creature. It didn't have a hump, so you don't get that argument of one hump or two, you know. But it was, I mean, they've studied the remains. It was very definitely camel-related. And like many other flora and fauna, the human race is such a apex predator, we killed them off. We ate all of them. Look at our fishing habits. We eat tentacle monsters, and we eat things that grow hard shells. We eat sharks. Really got to be dedicated to cleaning to eat shark, but we eat them. I've had shark. I've had snake too. I'm a little bit on the odd side. Yeah, Bob, if when I run low on collagen active, I'll just buy some more collagen active. But the other bottles, I mean, if they can do my wellness pack, that's great. If not, then my next order is about to process anyway. People are fixing to come in the door, so there's gonna be some noise. Hello, Dougie. He's a hound type of. Come here, puppy. He's not a puppy. He's a dignified old man. He's a chihuahua. Come here, puppy. Come here. He helped me eat my dinner. Come here. Yeah. See, that hound type of face is more pleasant to me than those bulbous little weird chihuahuas. This is my guy. Hi, Heather. I believe you've been here before. Yeah, he's not really that dignified. At his age, he should be, but that's different. But I was mentioning a little while ago, I mentioned Camp Carnivore. His name is Lee Copus. He's in the UK. And some other people in the UK would include Coach Stephen and Jonathan Griffiths, the recently gone or recognized as pro level carnivore bodybuilder. And for a disabled athlete, that's something. And he also eats carnivore diet and provides little tips on workouts and nutrition. It's like I avoid a lot of seeds in my seasonings now because he mentions seeds. Seeds are not kind to us. Seeds are where a plant puts a lot of defensive chemistry into the outer shell of the seed because that's how it protects its baby. Pepper seeds, vanilla seeds, and humans make a hobby out of trying them, which is how we make a hobby of trying hot peppers and making them hotter on purpose. I mean, it's not that they don't taste good. I mean, mild chilies have a little sweetness to them. You don't have to eat them with the seeds. If you get dry ones and dump the seeds out and kind of toast them up a little bit so you can get the skin off, that's a way to get a little bit of mild chili into your food. The chili powder on the shelf at the grocery store, they take the whole chilies and they bake them dry and then grind them up with the seeds for the most part. Now what? Yeah, dog being nuts. Although as far as I can tell, that's their purpose in life. He's been a much happier dog since we found his cat. The cat got out. The cat was missing for a month. And he lost a lot of weight. But now he's much more adventurous about trying things that are not cat food. Well, it's been hard to get the cat to adapt. I'd like him to be more carnivore like the dog is. He's an obligate carnivore anyway. That means if he doesn't eat meat in the right amounts and get what he needs, he's not going to be healthy. It's pretty much what an obligate carnivore is. Humans are a lot like that. Although we have people telling us from an early age, you've got to eat your fruit, you've got to eat your vegetables, you've got to eat your leafy greens. No, I don't. It's been a long time since I've made a green salad. Now, most of the time I've been carnivore, my daughter and her 2 children were here. So 3 non-carnivores in a house, and 2 of us eating carnivore foods. I'm not gonna cry about it. They're adults, they can eat what they want. If grandson gets tired of Crohn's, you can ask for expert data. I'll connect him to people. Although thus far, they're trying to resolve that. Hi, Jason. You missed a beautiful lamb steak. I didn't toast it too much. You gotta get that little golden color on here and there. It doesn't have to all be perfect. I ate it up. I gave some to the dog. But I was thinking about seasonings because they got brought up earlier in several live streams. My seasonings are leafy. I can use a bay leaf. I can use, I typically do not get ill eating a little oregano or basil. And between those 3, that's a lot less than even 1% of my diet. I use some onion now and then and some garlic, which is technically fleshy leaves. And we get told by a lot of people who haven't actually studied the history of it that people used to live on potatoes and other starchy tubers. Not really. They were fillers tossed in during times of famine. Most people these days, if you hand them a cattail root, the fleshy part, they would not be eating that. I understand that, Jason. I mean, I've got a pretty nice collection myself, but lately I use a lot less of it than I used to. Though I occasionally make sauerkraut, and I mean, that's a good place to put a little caraway seed, but I don't eat the seeds. I'll put them in and let it flavor sauerkraut. I don't eat a lot of sauerkraut, but it's summer. It's time to grill sausages and hot dogs and things. And If I can get consistent about making batches of sauerkraut, then I might feel a little braver about making some kimchi. Mmm. Okay, there's a truffle that needs to happen. Yeah, I've watched your videos, Jason. I have an idea about that. But it's just occurring to me, if I ever make some homemade kimchi and maybe some bulgogi or something like, the kind of tangy Korean beef recipe, bulgogi. A little bit of that and a bit of really finely chopped up kimchi into a truffle, or use the truffle for a wrap. I don't know, but I don't know how the cheesy flavor of truffles. I'd probably go with something kind of neutral on the cheeses. The mozzarella and egg truffle would maybe be neutral enough. I don't eat tons of kimchi, so I wouldn't need much in there to adjust the flavor, but it's gotta be right, you know? Oh yeah, kimchi is just a fancy spiced sauerkraut. I think if you've made sauerkraut before, you'll probably be just fine making kimchi. But I think just a little bit of kimchi and maybe some onion and some bulgogi. The tangy Korean beef. I love it. Um I mean, I don't need the sauces. I really don't need the sauces. I have to keep reminding myself I don't need the sauces. But I like bulgogi. I like most kinds of food, seriously. But I don't need all of them. That's what got me where I'm at. Because a woman who don't even make 5'2" standing barefoot does not need to weigh, well, when I started, almost 300 pounds. Below 200 now, so I'm well on the way to where I need to be. I mean, I still have the basic framework of being human. So it's important to be able to move my shoulders the way they should go. That one needs a little help. Okay. But eating right is one of the first things about getting healthy. Your health journey starts in the kitchen, not anywhere else. I mean, you eat right and you lose weight because your body isn't fighting everything you put in. If you keep eating the same old garbage and try to get ahead of it by exercise, it's not going to work. I mean, Bob, who was in here, might still be here. He started losing weight before he started exercising. I've been watching him that long. He has really lost a lot of weight. His shirt size has changed. My shirt size has changed. And my dresses and everything else. Everything. Even my socks. I'm buying smaller socks. That's not everybody. But you eat right and you're not fighting the healing that your body is trying to do. So, whether you're trying to do keto or carnivore or something in between, carnivore is just a more extreme version of keto. Which reminds me, I have to change the setting on a video for Monday because Jerry and Amy's When Keto and Carnivore Collide recipe relay continues to the end of the month. And Jerry was inviting people to just post whatever they wanted for the rest of the month because that is close. That is close. It's the 18th now. But it's not much of a collision. Carnivore is a kind of keto. It's just really extreme. A lot of people are not comfortable about their family members deciding to be carnivore. A lot of people are not willing to take the chance of trying it for themselves until they see it working for somebody for 2 or 3 or 4 years. By the way, I'm at 4.5 years. I have made previously the really horrendous joke that I died of scurvy 9 weeks in, and then after that I died of rickets. I'm not trying to live on corn, so I don't think I'm going to die of pellagra, but at some point I'll just be so acidic that every bone in my body will dissolve, and I'll just be a sad little puddle on the floor. I'm sure there's some other argument. Oh, I have not eaten my vegetables. I'm going to die of an insufficiency of purple, green, and probably blue. I'm not eating all my colors. I'll never get on Sesame Street this way. But it's Saturday evening, and I was looking at really badly dubbed Chinese TV shows. I heard notifications, and I looked, and I couldn't figure out what was notifying me. So I poked around a little bit. You're not going to destroy your phone by looking at what happens if I click this, what happens if I click that. I did make a comment earlier. Somebody was talking about their computer and all the stuff they try to save. It's like, and a lot of them. Fermenting is easy, Jason. Just a lot of people need to let go of the idea of pickles are fermented. Most of them are not. In fact, if you buy them off a shelf at the grocery store, that's over by the ketchup and mayo and all that stuff, and there's pickles and olives down at the end. It's like those aren't fermented. They're processed. They're not fermented. If you make your own and ferment them, they're tasty and they're very different quality from the food at the grocery store. Because the ones at the grocery store that have that lovely clear brine, nothing weird, the only thing fermented in that jar is the vinegar used to make the pickle. And it's easy enough, but you do not often see in very small stores, you don't usually see enough fermented pickles. Now, I'm right outside of Austin, Texas, And we've got foodie paradise here. No kidding. I mean, if you want something from some odd corner of the world, you can probably find it here. We like food. We like immigrants because they bring their recipes. We like everybody's recipes. Oh, Jason, there's plenty of store. If you can find an Asian market that has containers full of kimchi that's made locally, then you're probably getting fermented kimchi. Although at some point you'll probably wind up keeping an extra refrigerator in the garage. Just keep your kimchi in there. Oh, yeah, you can get little adaptive lids that go on normal mason jars, and you can ferment in those, whether they're tall jars or whatever. As long as you know if you want the regular or the wide mouth lids and rings, then you'll know what you would want to get for your mason jars so that you can ferment in them. Because they've got what's called a pickle pipe. It's basically a silicone top. And it works a lot like the top of a old style baby bottle. It's got a valve, and you can pinch that and it'll release gas. Hi, Mason. Yeah, we're talking kimchi in here. Although I admit I was talking about how important it is that there's little bits of info all across all these different live streams we get into. And even when you go into Charger Mopar's live stream, and you may not want to talk about cars. He talks about more than cars. He talks about ducks, he talks about iguanas, and he talks about making sure the kitties eat right. And then you've got, some of us were saying earlier, we were in Thomas's stream earlier, or in the live chat associated with the stream, and somebody said something, and I was like, oh, you've been listening to Ken Berry for a long time then. All the way back when he was cracking jokes about locking us in his barn and slipping us meat. Sounds like a perfect summer camp to me. But I have recommended Dr. Berry, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Baker, and, of course, Professor K more than once this week. They all have good information to offer. It doesn't matter where in the world they are on a given day. Cue Carmen Sandiego, right? But they're out there. There's all these streams that are out there. We got Kent Carnivore. He can talk about what happens when your guts are imploding. And the hospital says, well, we can take out all this stretch of large intestine, but we're going to have to set you up with a bag. Sounds awful to me. And from his description, I would say it probably wasn't all that pleasant for him either. Yeah, Kev stopped by earlier, although I know he doesn't always have the time to just hang around and find out what's going on in any particular. I'm not actively grilling anything, so got that hello and off he goes. But he's not in the carnivore zone, but he's a good guy. And I hope he learns to take care of his health, because his face is showing the inflammation. And I need to stop drinking these things. Ooh, low carb, no sugar, etc. And here's the ingredient list. Fine print, all that. I should not put it in my face. But I like caffeine. Cleveland, is it Cleveland brand fermented kimchi, or is it a brand from Cleveland that I'm not likely to see down here? Because, to tell you the truth, HEB stores are pretty good about getting some nice products in. Hi, Emily. Yay. Puppy dog, what you doing? I hope he's not looking for the bone I gave him earlier. I'm well fed. But I had a nice big lamb shoulder chop earlier, or shoulder steak. What makes the difference? But it's like, I got a nice piece of lamb, and I've watched the color in the pan rather than taking the temperature. Plenty of salt, cooked in butter. It's good. The dog got his part. He gets a few bites of the actual meat, and then he gets to clean up whatever piece of bone is not so sharp that I'm concerned about him. So he'd stab himself in the gullet and start puking if I let him. What dog won't eat himself sick if he gets a chance? But the shoulder steak, it had one strip of bone that, like, okay, I got off everything I'm gonna eat. He can take the rest. And you asked how I am. Well, pretty much half-baked. It's been hot. It is still 91 degrees at almost 8:30 in the evening. Yes, I got my stickers. In fact, I said that before. I thought you would have seen, but I did say it. I got stickers. Yeah, people forget that the farther south in Texas you go, the worse the heat is, because you're getting closer and closer to weather patterns that include humidity scooped up from the Gulf, without always having the benefit of the rain you might expect to get. Now, during storm season, that humidity will come up and work its way inland, and we'll have rain sooner or later, but it'll fall on. Yeah, I'm on the north side of Austin myself. Almost to Jonah. But yeah, the weather patterns pick up that humidity and bring it in. Bring it all the way up here into central Texas where the ground is baked until it's nearly waterproof like a tile. And then when the rain does come, it takes forever for that ground to soften up and absorb any moisture. So it hits that baked ground and just goes everywhere. Hi, Italian girl. Yes, we do have air conditioning on. In fact, I just mentioned a minute ago that it's still 91 degrees at almost 8:30 in the evening. Although the window I'm looking at still has some light, and I've started having some red light on. That way I'm not just looking at blue LEDs. Jason, if you could not eat cheese, there would be gelatin powders, broths, and other things that are, well, the broths you might make would probably be better than using gelatin powders, but you can get a wider range of textures by using those. For myself, I really just don't get excited about cheese. A lot of people love it. Cheeseburgers and pizzas rely on it. They wouldn't sell as well. Although, pizza you really have to watch out for because you have a lot of glyphosate soaked grain being milled into flour. It's still got glyphosate in it. And that just drives your blood glucose up and up and up and up. And then you. Oh, Mason, this is the. You can see the reflection on my glasses. Before I did a short showing the lights in the front hallway, the laundry area, and number one grandson's rooms, because those can be switched to a reddish, night friendly, human eye friendly light. And then this one is like, since I need a light that's, I mean, I can change this one a lot. But that's just the ring light that came with this particular camera stand thing. Oh, I didn't go quite far enough. It's changing colors now. Oh, there we go. That will look like white on my glasses, but it has all the colors chasing each other around the circle. And some of it's just more fun than it. This one is pretty good. It starts at the bottom and a color change takes itself all the way around the circle. And then it starts getting into psychedelic chasing. How's that? Can you see the reflection? This was actually, I think, a $40 or $50, just a, oh dear. Let me see, might be the booklet for it right there. Nope, not that. Not that either. Okay. There might be a name on this. Let me grab my phone out of it, see what I can find. It looks like it says Ceratec or Semitec, but the label I just peeled has a little QR code on it, and peeling it destroyed the code. But I got it on Amazon and it was within my price range, so I didn't worry about it. Turn the light back off. The light on my phone, I was using it to read the sticker. Obviously the light up there is not red. That's above the kitchen sink, where you kind of want to be able to see, especially if you're trying not to cut your fingers off. Oh, I didn't look in here. I think this is something else, though. Yeah. But yeah, I was looking at selfie sticks and little tripod stands for phones. And I found this, and the ring light associated with it is really not very big. I think it's a 13-inch one. And pretty sturdy. I think I better try it. It's the tripod part of the last one got stepped on and broke. The light hearing from it won't take long before it's completely gone. What have I got up there? Oh, paper towels. Paper towels there, Legos there. Egg cups way back there by the clock. visited all the topics I meant to when I sat down. I did mention that we touched on a lot of topics over the course of many live streams today. And sometimes people just need to visit the topic over and over again for it to sink in and things start to click. Somebody mentioned, oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, watch for opportunities to get the ones that are on special or on sale too. You never know when something will be on a good price. But, oh yeah, somebody was talking about the meat prices. And it's like Labor Day weekend is coming up. If you wait on getting a ring light or stand with a light or light panel or anything of that sort, you might put a little bit more into the sale prices on meats that will be coming up for Labor Day weekend. Whether you like German sausage, which is easy enough to make if you're stuck with making your own because of food allergies, or if you're reasonably safe and just buy some, then there will be things that'll be on sale. Is save a few bucks here and there, especially on stuff you know you'll eat anyway. We haven't cooked much picanha or brisket this year. We usually think of brisket as one of the cheap meats. I've occasionally bought some primarily for the purpose of grinding it up and making brisket flavored burgers out of it. But brisket has a lot of connective tissue. The stuff that cooks down into the collagen that we need in our connective tissue. And that our collagen breaking down is why we get these lines. Yeah, brisket is high dollar now. What's crazy is how high beef tongue is right now. I mean, there's still a lot of people in the world who won't eat it, but it's priced like steak. Beef tongue, brisket, things of that nature, they wind up being part of the reason I go to the local Korean barbecue. Because I can get one premium order. I can have some steak in it, and I can have some pork belly in it, and I can have some brisket slices in it, and I can have some beef tongue. Kind of watching the dog. He knows I'm talking to the thingy up here in the stand. It's like, oh no, mommy's talking to the hand thing again. Ever since the stroke, I find that I can't just talk on autopilot. So if I'm paying attention over here and the dog is on the floor making faces or being cute, then I'm not just going to keep talking. It is 8:37 in the evening, and it's time for me to move on to doing other things. I have eaten. That was good. I like a nice lamb steak now and then. And remember, if someone's trying to shove a potato at you and going, starchy roots have been part of human diet since forever, the potatoes have been changed a lot by us since that forever. They're more palatable and they're a lot less fibrous than you would think. And I believe they are a member of the nightshade family, which is why you can get those grafted plants that they advertise in seed catalogs as potatoes underneath and tomatoes up top. Things I don't need to eat. And who thought that was a good idea anyway? I'm trying to figure out how I got this bruise on my arm. And then it's like, meh, it's me. But yeah, eat what makes you feel good and helps you heal. Exercise as you are able. Learn what you can. And take care of each other because Grandma loves you and wants you to be okay. Everybody needs a grandma. I don't have any left, but neither do a lot of people. Good night, Mason and everybody else. I'm gonna turn this off now. Y'all take care, okay? Alright, bye-bye.